folks, welcome to another episode of Play Unplugged TV. I'm your host Enrico Nardini for Play Unplugged, and today we're going to be doing another unboxing. Today's unboxing is going to be, and we've had a little bit of a break. We had Gen Con Indy and all that great coverage, all those interviews. Well, we're back to doing some unboxings now, and right now I have the most recent releasing just today, Dungeon Command Tyranny of Goblins. And so for those of you who aren't familiar, Dungeon Command is the newest iteration of the D&D collectible mini product line, and what it is in this case is it's an individual game you can play, with these boxes, and if you bought this box or one of the other boxes, you could fight another person's box. You can play this two-player, but it's very limited. It's like a learn how to play the game. Really, to play the game successfully, you would need to have this and either the set that includes the drow or the set that includes the the more heroic adventurers. And so this one, Tyranny of Goblins, is going to be goblin themed, goblin and hobgoblin themed. And we'll take a look inside and check out the contents. These box sets have been really cool. One of the neatest things about them is they are, not only can you use them as a standalone miniatures game, standalone skirmish miniature game, they're pre-painted. You can also use them with the D&D adventure board games like Legend of Dritz or Castle Ravenloft. You can use them. They have cards to be used with those games, and of course they're pre-painted miniatures that are scaled to be used with just the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. So this is like really, it's a multi-use product. It's a 3-use product. There's a review. I'll put the link below. There's a review for the two other Dungeon Command sets, but I want to do an unboxing of one, so here we go. We're going to crack this open and take a look at what's inside. So I'll take a look at the contents first, and then we'll put the rest of it under close cam. I'm going to slice right in here, and let's see what we got. Plastic off here. So off the bat on the illustration, I see I see two miniatures I'm pretty familiar with. This is the Hobgoblin Wizard of Tiamat, I believe, and this is, and there's a Goblin Wolf Rider there, and I think a Pit Fiend, the one with the chain. We'll take a look. So the boxes slide open. One of the nice things about these is that you can save the box for storage. It's not totally perfect, but everything fits in pretty well. So you get Dungeon Command Rulebook. This is going to teach you how to play the game Dungeon Command. Some promotional materials. Now, every one of these sets comes with two characters. These represent who you are, and this is awesome. This is going to be a great remembrance for those who played the original D&D minigame, Snig the Axe, an iconic character from an iconic Goblin warlord from the old D&D miniature line. That's awesome. Now this character isn't represented on the board, so I wouldn't be surprised if that particular miniature is actually not in here, because who you are. You're represented. This card represents you. You're an off-board presence. So let's see. We have Tarkin Drawl, and he looks like a hobgoblin of some stature. All right. So in here, you're also going to get the tiles that'll make up your half of the board. So when you play someone, you'll attach your tiles together, and we'll take a closer look at this. And it has an entrance point for your force. They'll attach their tiles here, and you'll fight inside that dungeon. Or, one of the really cool features with this, you can also be fighting outside. And you'll notice there are certain tiles that have certain markings on them, and all that stuff does have a meaning in the game. It all is meaningful in the game. Lastly, you'll see you'll have a tray that's got some, well, not lastly, a tray with some miniatures. They fit really... Okay, the other sets fit a lot more snugly than that. They fit fairly snugly into these slots, but I don't know if my set just, they were kind of not put in correctly or what. They usually don't tumble out like that, but maybe this set not as much. Okay, that's pretty humorous. All right, so we've got there are spots in your tray. The miniatures sit there, and there are spots in your tray for your counters, which you'll punch out on a counter sheet like this. And these are, nice, high-quality counters. They're very thick card treated with some kind of plasticization process. And lastly, you're going to get a set of cards. And these cards are going to include both the cards that are necessary to play the skirmish game, and so like your orders and your characters that are their stat cards for fighting. But you're also going to get a set of cards. These cards put you in can be used in the board games. So 2 sets of cards, very cool, and they actually all the cards fit right like that. So you'll always have them. All right, we'll take it in under the closed cam, get a better look at some of these miniatures, take a look at the paint jobs and whatnot. Okay, folks. So looking closer, giving you a more close-up view, we have so there's some promotional material for Rise of the Underdark, and the adventure board games, and some of the other board games offered. We don't really need that. Here are your character cards. Now, character cards, they have different things in them, so each character has a special ability. They both have morale that starts at a certain spot, leadership that starts at a certain spot. This determines morale is what you need to have morale. Reducing your opponent's morale to 0 is a way to win the game. Leadership allows you to deploy more monsters. It has your creature hand size and order hand size. These are the different hands you need to play the game. Hands of cards. Here's the Dungeon Command rules. It has the art from the box. It's very clearly written. It's full color, very easy to understand. It has basically everything you need to know to play the game. One thing that is of note is that it is printed on paper, and it's not treated anyway. It's kind of magazine style stapled, but it is kind of fragile, so you want to be much more careful with this kind of a rule book. It's very easy much more easy to tear because the pages have not been treated. The tiles, very nice. If you're familiar with the Dungeon Tiles line, it is of a similar quality. They snap together very easily. So you can imagine this set and your opponent's set would make one dungeon layout. You'll play in this area. You can also play on this wooded area. One of the really nice things that I like about these tiles, aside from just the modularity and the ease of construction, and the cool art, is that if you look here, you're always going to know what's yours, even if you have multiple sets, because they're labeled. So not hard to remember which one's yours. Easy to store. You stack them just like this. They'll fit on top of the tray, and I'll show you how the complete storage part goes. We'll put those off to the side. Just to get this out of the way, inside the bottom of the box are a bunch of counters. You'll punch all these out, and they will fit in the slots of your tray when you put them back. And most importantly, the main tray of goodies. First of all, here are cards. This first set of cards here can be put off to the side if you're actually playing the Dungeon Command game, but these cards will allow you to use the things in this set. They'll allow you to use the miniatures in this set with the D&D Adventure board games. So very cool, nice little added feature. Ups the value of the product, especially if you are significantly invested in the line. These are the stat cards for the monsters. All the monsters have different stats, levels, etc., etc. Oh, it's a horn devil. It's a horn devil, the one with the chain. And then order cards, and the order cards allow you to do like special things in your turn that can turn the tide of the battle. Looking at the miniatures, I feel personally that they're pretty high quality pre-painted miniatures. It's a matter of getting what you pay for. Are any of these paint jobs Golden Demon worthy? Certainly not. Will they win any awards? Certainly not. Are they practically well painted miniatures that will suffice for tabletop purposes and look good when you set out a bunch of them on the table? Yes, I believe so. You can see a lot of them have basically a base color applied to them and then an ink wash. I love this troll. He's just awesome looking. I'm a big fan of the troll as a monster. And this one is just big and bulky and imposing. It has that perfect gigantic schnoz. But once again, you look at it, basically it has one coat of paint and an ink wash. But they look nice. They're well done. Here's your Horned Devil. He's got his chain, his barbed chain. Most of these miniatures are already existing sculpts, so like this Goblin Berserker looking guy, Goblin Champion it says on the bottom, this Goblin Archer, got some roguish looking goblins with knives. Really like this Goblin Wolf Rider is just very cool. I don't know if this may be a new sculpt actually. It looks a lot different from the previous Wolf Rider. And there was a Snig the Axe on a wolf also, but it looks much different than that. There's a wolf down here. Love this model. This was the Hobgoblin. It used to be, you can see from the hand mark, and I don't know if they're just calling it a Hobgoblin Wizard, but this Hobgoblin Wizard with the dragon staff and all that, that was all related to Tiamat in a previous edition. And Bugbear Berserker. Just a bugbear with an axe, very cool. And it looks like some Hobgoblin soldiers. This weapon, it looks like some kind of crazy two-handed sword. I'm not in love with this sculpt, especially the pose is a little bit off, but still, still totally functional and usable. But aside from them getting a case of the limp sword on this one doesn't, and I'm just not in love with this weapon. It's a big, no dachi style two-handed sword, like a bastard sword, but I'm just not feeling it. But that's it. I mean, I like the rest of them. The rest of them look really great. Okay, so how does this all go together? Tokens get punched out. They go in these slots. This sits back in the box. You can imagine your tokens in here. Take your set of tiles. You attach the two that aren't attached there. Boom, they sit in the tray like this. That there. This goes back on top. Boom. Close that back up. You're ready to go to your game. Very cool product from Wizards of the Coast, Dungeon Command. This is the newest set, Tyranny of Goblins, that's out there. They're going to be coming out with an Undead set next also. So a lot of stuff for Dungeon Command coming out. But one of the nice things is it removes the blind purchase aspect of the pre-painted miniatures. I always like that. You'll know exactly what you get in here because it's going to be the same anytime. Folks, thank you for watching another episode of Play Unplugged TV. Make sure you check out www.playunplugged.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you check out that site, playunplugged.com.